This is The Miller's Edge with Christian Miller, two-time national champion and team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is The Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this Thursday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready to dive into some sports talk here on the program. Looking forward to it. Another day, another dollar, another practice, right? A little bit different, though, today. And I'm sure you guys are aware. You're probably wondering where some of the content that you're used to seeing is that, right? You might not be seeing it. And that is because I want to say yesterday was the last media availability for, I think, a little bit of time. I don't know when the next availability is. I know normally after scrimmages, Coach DeBoer normally speaks. So maybe they'll have like a press conference, something like that. Brock says no practice today, scrimmage tomorrow. No, I'm pretty sure scrimmage is Saturday, man. You got me having to double check my schedule now. Hold on, Brock. Now you got me confused. I'm pretty sure scrimmage is Saturday, but I do know they cut back on the media availability portion of it. Let me pull it up to be sure. Brock, see, I'm telling you, man, you got me second guessing. Nah, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, August 9th is the scrimmage. So there is practice there. Brock, what are you doing, man? You trying to throw me for a loop, man? They are practicing today. So what it is, though, is there's no media availability. So that's what – let me stick to what I'm doing. Brock, you got me – throwing me off, man. So there is practice today. Never mind that. Brock threw me for a loop in the chat. There was practice today, I should say, or finishing up. What it is, though, is they cut back on the media availability. So you're not going to be seeing all the practice clips and things like that for quite some time. Matter of fact, I have the schedule pulled up right here, and I want to say – the next time that they will allow media out there, I think looks like to be around August 19th. So, yeah, a little bit less than 2 weeks away until you might get some more of those practice clips and whatnot. So we're going to have to regurgitate some of the ones that you've seen. Now, obviously, I'm out there all the time, but, I try to respect stuff. So I'm not going to be sharing too much since the media portion's kind of cut back. But I will be out there. Definitely will be at that scrimmage Saturday. And I'll do my best to kind of offer, little things here and there that's not too invasive. You guys know how we like to do, but we'll definitely dive into that. We also need to dive into the second half of Kane Wommack's press conference from yesterday. We heard the first half of it, and I might even go back a little bit because he answered a few questions that we were talking about, and I want to piggyback off that because there's some really good stuff. And it's a question that I brought up earlier in the show yesterday about some of the, the evolution that we might see defensively, right? Each year there's going to be some differences, some nuances. System's going to be the same because he's still here, obviously. But as I was expecting that he's probably going to, reassess things that, they did well last year, things where they might have struggled. And they're always going to be looking to implement some new things, right? Some little wrinkles here and there. How can they attack offenses differently to have a little bit more success? That being said, he went ahead and answered that question yesterday while he was doing his press conference. We didn't get a chance to respond to it because we had to cut the interview and end the show. So we'll dive back into that because I want to talk a little bit about what some of those, I guess, little wrinkles could be, some of the things that we could see that could look a little bit different with this defense and how it will have an impact on this football season. Might take a look at some of these other SEC teams. I know a lot of people are kind of, going down the list. I know you got the, top 25 list coming out, AP poll, coaches polls, all that stuff. So maybe we'll take a little bit of a dive around the SEC at least and kind of get a gauge on, some of these other teams that I do feel are going to be contenders. Coach Saban, we talked about that yesterday, had in mind about 5 teams that he felt will be contenders: Alabama, Georgia, Texas, LSU. Of course, those 4. Then his 5th was actually Florida, who he felt has a really good shot. I wouldn't say really good shot. They have a shot at being really good. So we'll probably take a look at a couple of those teams as well throughout the show. Per usual, got to remind you about our friends over at the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. Make sure you guys go check them out. Midtown Village is where you can find them here in Tuscaloosa, right there off of McFarland Boulevard. Premium art supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, you name it. They will take care of it. So make sure you guys go check them out. Literally just walk in the store. They'll take great care of you, show you how they work. You can test them out, all that good stuff. Plus, you can always go to their website, find more information, find the nearest location to you because they are nationwide. Just go to goodfeet.com, type in your zip code, and they'll pull it up right there for you. Again, that is the Good Feet Store. Improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Hey, Chase, I'm sure you've probably seen this. I know you mentioned one of the acquisitions, but you know who's kind of taking over the whole college sports media thing right now is On3. They're like making these acquisitions and all these signings as if they're like they just keep dropping them left and right. I'm like, damn. What's the guy that runs his name? Like Shannon Terry or something? He's just dropping bags. You're talking about NIL bags, man. On3 is dropping bags. I saw that they just announced they're bringing on. Obviously, Josh Pate was the big one. We mentioned that already yesterday, I believe. But the next guy, the next addition that they have joining is Ross Dellinger, who's he's the one that he's always typing and tweeting about always tweeting and talking about. The latest updates in the NIL space, the legislation side of things. I'm sure he probably talks about a number of other things, but anytime that I'm trying to look for updates on what's happening in that realm, I always get it from him. And he works with Yahoo Sports. I think they even acquired or they're working with Yahoo Sports. I don't know, but they definitely seem to kind of be expanding at a fast pace. But anyway, so if you guys are ever interested in looking at, college football content, stuff like that, I have nothing to do with them, but I guess free plug, man. They look to be building some cool stuff. So shout out to On3 for doing just that. We do have plenty of other player interviews that we haven't got a chance to dive into. So if you guys want to hear any of those, we'll definitely respond to that. But always remind you guys, you can hit us up 205-342-9904. Love to hear from you. I know you got plenty of questions. Again, the media availability is kind of over with, so you won't be getting that stuff. But you've had a number of opportunities to see practices and all that stuff, so I'm sure you got plenty of questions. Plus, I'm sure there still will be some developments coming out. Just because the media is not able to go out there, you always got people talking. There's always people running their mouths and stuff comes out. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about still until we get back to, I guess, the media availability, which will be the 19th. But thank God for being a former player and a member of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Still able to go check that stuff out, which is fun. So definitely appreciative of that. Chase, man, how's everything behind the glass, man? Talk to you in a second, man.
Christian Miller, man, I'm doing pretty well. It's definitely starting to get hot again. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I got my Stanley over here. Trying to drink as much water as I can. But yeah, I'm just excited for football to start. I know high school sports or high school football starts in, I think, a week or two, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm just ready for fall sports to get it going.
Oh, absolutely. You know what else starts? You just reminded me. I'm glad you brought up high school football. You got preseason that actually will be taking place today. Yeah, man. And again, let's be careful. We got to walk lightly when we talk about the NFL. I don't want JR and other people getting all mad at us. No, it's a joke. But no, I'm excited because you got I want to say, it's tomorrow. Panthers play tomorrow. They play the Browns tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one, man. Obviously my former team, but which I'm excited to see them play. But I'm really excited because you got Shedeur Sanders. He's getting the start. At least that's what was reported. So, it's been crazy, man. There's so much news coming out from, Cleveland. I mean, like 1 minute it's talking about he's performing well. The next minute people are saying, he's about to get cut. But you know what? I'd rather just see him and get a gauge myself. And we get that opportunity tomorrow against my former team. So that's really exciting. They've been doing their joint practices down in Charlotte. So, it's just going to be a fun one. Joint practices are always, interesting leading up to a game because you pretty much play like 2 games going into the game at practice. But definitely going to be tuning into that one. I want to say for today, you've got the Colts taking on the Ravens. I'm trying to think of former guys. Oh, here we go. Big one. Duh. Former Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe is going to be taking the field today. He'll be taking on the Raiders. Chase, that should be interesting. Now, that says on here at least 9 p.m. I'm assuming – is that What time zone is that? Let me try to figure that out. I don't know if that sounds kind of late to be on Central Time. Does it not? Or maybe I'm tripping. Here we go. Wait, man, something doesn't seem right. Am I getting my dates wrong? Chase, do you have an NFL preseason schedule pulled up?
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now, and it says 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I think you're
So
right.
it is 9.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So there you go. So Alabama fans, if you guys want your first glimpse, which it's just what's crazy. I'm like, man, I can already just imagine some people just like, oh, they're just waiting to turn it on just so they can see. It's almost like this is so crazy to think about, but I almost feel like some Alabama fans would be willing just to wait to watch that game, stay up at night just to see if he does bad, so they can go and like feel like they're proving themselves right or something. I don't know. I know I'm excited to watch him get his first NFL game in. But yeah, you're right. 9 o'clock tonight. So if you guys stay up a little bit later, you can watch Jalen Milroe take on Las Vegas, the Raiders. I'm trying to think. Do we have anybody on the Raiders? Don't know off the top of my head. We'll circle back to it. You also have Philly taking on Cincinnati and Baltimore taking on Indy. Obviously, Baltimore's got a handful of Bama guys. Most notably, you think of Marlon Humphrey and Derrick Henry. Normally, first preseason games, a lot of times starters are held out, so probably not going to see those guys. I'm trying to think of some young guys. You know what I'll do during this timeout? I'll pull up the list of Alabama guys on NFL rosters. That way we can see exactly who's going to be playing, because I know you guys are probably going to be looking forward to it. I know I always get excited like seeing the fresh Bama guys in the league to have their first NFL game. It's always big, man. It's exciting because, I mean, I remember my first experience. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous as hell. It was a surreal moment. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going through training camp and you're, playing with next to these guys, the Luke Kuechly's, the Cam Newtons and stuff like that. But then when you actually take the field against another NFL team, it kind of really hits you like, man, I'm in the NFL now. So shout out to all the Bama guys that will be taking the field tonight, and looking forward to watching them. Obviously, there already was one game, the Hall of Fame game. I know that. But now it's like the official start week of it. So I'll pull up that roster and we'll see. But NFL preseason starts tonight. So we got football. We got football tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And more right here on the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. Good deal. All right, let's do our roll call, man. Where's everybody tuning in from? I guess that'll be a new thing. I'll take on the professor role for a minute. Who we got? Where are you listening from? Ryan, what's up from Prattville? What's going on, man? Travelpreneur Sports. What's going on, guys? Brock over here trying to throw us off, man. I'm over here doing the intro. Brock's like, oh, there's no practice today. Scrimmage tomorrow. You did say right, though. You were asking. But yeah, me second guessing. Because I'm not going to lie. Half the time, I mix the schedule up. But I was like, no, I know they practice today. It's just the media portion. They're cutting back for like the next 12 days. So the 19th is when it looks like they'll be back available to be out there. That's interesting, though. They do have 2 straight days of no practice down the road. We never had that, I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Did they practice Friday? Yeah. Yeah, they do practice for their scrimmage on Friday. Mike, what's going on? What's up? QD, I see you. Charles, what's going on? Good morning. From the PNW. Please fill me in. I'm not going to lie. I feel dumb. I feel like I have an idea what that stands for, but part of me is kind of like, I'm not sure. Yeah, Seahawks do play late, man. I'm excited to watch it. I wonder, did they announce who's going to start that game? Let's see. I wonder if Jalen's going to get the start. Pacific Northwest. Appreciate that. Hey, man, listen, I was born and raised in South Carolina, live here now, man. Hey, I got the northwest part right though. You know what's funny though? For some reason I was like pretty northwest. I had northwest right. I didn't get Pacific though. Good deal. Appreciate that, man. Filling me in on my geography. NOLA per usual. Now, Carson, when you say NOLA, are we talking like NOLA, like near Bourbon Street NOLA, or are we talking about like outside of NOLA? I'm just curious. Oh, Seattle area. That's what's up. Born and raised in Mobile, though. I like Mobile, man. My roommate, Jamie, who coaches on staff, him and CJ obviously are from Mobile. So I've been down there a handful of times with him, man. I enjoy it. Great food, a lot of stuff to do around there. Because it's just such a big area. Like I've been around Spanish Fort, Daphne. Outside, I got you. Yeah, I mean, the only New Orleans I know, I'm not gonna lie to you, Carson, is really like Bourbon Street area. Not from me just being wild or reckless, nothing like that. Just like when when I played there. I mean, obviously we're right there in the mix. But I did go on a cruise from New Orleans though. I can't remember like where about though. And welcome back into this Thursday edition of Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Hey, just a reminder, if you guys are looking for a place to come hang out and watch us do the show, well, we got a location for you. 1225 is where we'll be at Fridays this season, man. Make sure you come hang out with us. Watch the show live, enjoy great food, wings, burgers, all that stuff, pizzas. I mean, they got it all. Literally, they've got over 30-something TVs throughout. You can watch all the sporting events on. I'll be hanging out. You can come kick with me. And plus, you can always enjoy some nice drinks, drink responsibly, but they are known for a tipsy elephant. That's a big one, but they've got all of them. They've got, great bartenders that get you right and all that stuff, but it's a great time. We did it there last year, had a really, really nice time doing it, and we're looking to expand, do even more. So looking forward to that. So if you're looking for a place to come hang out, man, get your game day weekend started the right way, man. Come do it with us. The Miller's Edge will be there during our showtime. Plus, I'll just hang out a little while with you guys as well, and it's going to be really fun, man. So looking forward to doing that. So mark your calendars. If you guys are coming into town for a game, make sure Friday you mark that one off, man. 12:25 will be there, as you guys can see on the stream right there. That being said, let's dive back into this Kane Wommack interview from yesterday, because we didn't get a chance to really respond to it and really break it down. But I'm going to start it from the top, because he did answer those questions towards the beginning. And so I think we got like a few minutes in. So if you already heard those first few minutes, bear with us. I'm sure you probably forgot already what he said anyway. But I want to circle back and really get his thoughts, because defensively, man, I'm really looking to see like how, everybody's like, oh, I'm not worried about the defense. So I just, we got guys coming back. But you just know, I mean, there still were things we could be better at and things we could clean up. And I'm just curious. I've been wanting to hear his thoughts, go inside his head on his expectations, what they're trying to do and what they plan to do this upcoming season to be even better. And so we got a few of those answers yesterday. So let's go back to that interview and really break it down. Again, Kane Wommack after practice yesterday, talking about training camp and a couple things for this upcoming season.
Coach, I asked this question to Coach Grubb yesterday, but what's the balance between fundamental instruction and install, and as you get deeper into camp, is it harder to maintain that balance?
Yeah, it's a great question. When you're a team and you're offensively, defensively, there's certain liberties that you get to enjoy right in the first 5-6 days of fall camp, because you can carry a larger catalog of defense and offense than we would have, in spring ball. In fall camp a year ago, because our guys understand it, right? They know it. We've been doing it over and over and over again. And really, for these freshmen that are coming in as mid-year enrollees, that's one of the things for me to be able to do with them when our other coaches go on the road recruiting. Grubb and I are sitting here, spending time with them, meeting with them, installing before we ever get to, spring workouts and then spring football. And then, the summertime we go through the installation. And so by the time you get to fall camp, you can do a little bit more. But always, right, it always comes back to the fundamental elements, right? And it's hard to move on schematically if you're not where you need to be fundamentally. And I think that we've certainly taken a jump in that direction in year 2.
What are some things you can do now in the offseason and fall camp to increase the sack numbers this season?
Yeah, so that was one thing that, if you point to some of the areas that we had to improve upon from last year, being able to create negative plays in the backfield, being able to affect the quarterback, certainly from a standpoint of creating more sacks defensively. It was something that we needed to look at. So fundamentally, we tweaked some things, and schematically, just created some more variance in some of the things that we're doing in passing downs. I think we're in a good spot right now. I think, that's an ever-flowing, okay, what does this team do this week? How elusive is their quarterback? How do we want to contain him and also, force pressure and those things? And so, week to week, those things are going to change. But if you build a catalog of defense in the offseason, those are things you can kind of go to week to week to create variance in what you're doing.
It seems like
That was one thing I was, I was glad to hear, right? Obviously, they're addressing, hey, when it comes to, pass rush production, tackles for loss, right? That type of deal. Statistically wasn't too great. Now, pressures wise, I think they did, it was sound. But in terms of, getting those sacks, getting those negative plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage, it wasn't too great. And so that's something they looked at and they're addressing. And he mentioned a couple of things, obviously schematically, they've tweaked some things. Fundamentally, maybe they'll look at playing some things a little bit different. And basically what that means is from a fundamental standpoint, right, that's more so just how they're training or teaching guys to do certain things, right? And then from a schematic standpoint, they could be mixing it up, could be putting some more simulated pressures, could be bringing some more fire zones. I mean, there's so many different ways to get to that and try to force negative plays. There's different, I guess, approaches you can take. But it sounds like they're trying to just build that up now. That way, when it does come, when you get to that point in the season, right, when you're playing these games and you're doing your game prep for certain teams, you already got it in there, and you're not trying to just come up on the fly that week. Like, hey, what are some things we can add this week to try to attack this? No, you already have it in your catalog, like he said, or their playbook, and then you can just go to it. That's what we always did. Like when I talk about, when we had Bray on here and we were joking about Coach Saban's playbook literally being like this thick, we hardly repped or played, a lot of those calls in our playbook, but they were there. And training camp was a time where we really tried to put all that stuff in, even knowing we probably weren't going to run a lot of it, but we at least put it in there and repped it a little bit. That way we had an idea. That way when the season came and if it had to come back up, we would be, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like foreign to us. That being said, there were times that we were going to implement things that we hadn't done. There would be instances where we'd be, 6-7 games in, we're playing an opponent, they're doing something a little bit different. And say another team started trying to combat that. We watched tape and another team played it a certain way. We didn't necessarily always do it that way. So we kind of, have a copycat thing. Football is a copycat league, right? So you see a lot of carryover with a lot of stuff. But anyway, I did like that again, they looked at the numbers in terms of, we didn't always have a lot of plays on the other side of the football. How can we address that fundamentally, schematically? They're addressing it right now through camp. So that's a good thing to hear.
You guys got plenty of pressures last year. I'm curious about how you guys drill, once you put the pressure on, that difference, those finishing moments, the ones that turn pressures into tackles for loss and sacks. What is how are y'all training that? What does that look like on the practice field to make sure that happens?
Well, there's creating the opportunity to make the play, right? And ultimately production comes when a guy, right, executes his job and then he can finish on the ball carrier, right? We talk to the guys about this all the time, before the ball is snapped, all right, before you make a play, what does it take to bring a grown man to the ground, right? You gotta ask that question to yourself internally so that you are in position to physically go execute and bring a grown man to the ground. And so then the fundamental aspect of that, right, is we work all different variations of tackling. So we have tackle circuits that are focused on like pre-contact. Before we ever get to the point, did we put ourselves in position to leverage the ball and then work to a proper contact tackle? So then we have a contact tackle circuit, and we do different variations of tackling, right? The actual act of the tackling itself. And then like today, we worked situational tackles, right? So things that show up, with a quarterback scramble, goal line tackle, vice tackle in open field, swipe desperation tackle, right? Those are all different variations of being able to ultimately make the play when it matters most.
And I think that guy, or I can't see who asked the question, but they kept asking about that. Somebody kept asking, I think LT, about that the other day. And here's the thing, guys, like when it comes to like finishing on tackles, like, and Kane did a great job of really giving them an idea on all the things that you can do that they do. But here's the thing, when it comes to like finishing those plays, man, like you can rep all those drills and stuff, and they do have some carryover. But in all reality, man, it really comes down to like, let's just talk about sacks, for example, right? Like the fundamental, like you said, number one, first and foremost, you got to put yourself in position to make the plays, which we saw that last year. There's a number of time guys were in position to make a play, but we didn't finish. How can you rep that? It's not like you can, number one, live periods, right? So when you do get opportunities in practice to actually tackle and finish, the problem is you can't finish on the quarterback. I don't know any team whatsoever that allows you to tackle, their quarterbacks to the ground. So you're not able to rep that, so to speak, in practice. But to give yourself a good chance at really even putting yourself in position to make those plays, at least from like an edge perspective or even a defensive tackle, pursuit angles, like we used to have a thing. You always, like when you're coming at the quarterbacks, when you beat the tackle, right? A lot of times quarterbacks, they're going to step up. You see, they do that kind of spin out where they spin out of it. And you got to have the right angle on. Sometimes guys take bad angles. They miss sacks that away, right? So like if you're not leaning into that tackle and that the quarterback's about to step up, like we used to always say, aim for that upfield shoulder and kind of play from like, how do you explain, like top to bottom? Because sometimes if you do it too narrow and you got a quarterback that likes to spin out of it, you're going to bend it too tight and then he's going to spin out. That's why you want to go top to bottom, force him into the teeth of the defense. So angles like that are really important. But like he said, all those different tackle drills definitely help in terms of reps. But at the end of the day, man, like you just got to finish. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. Eye discipline. Like keeping your eyes up. Sometimes guys like, because football is so fast, and I don't think people understand. Like you don't just naturally just go like, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain. Like when I beat a tackle, I'm not thinking in my head, so to speak, okay, I need to perfectly do this, but that's why it's so important to rep those things at practice. That way the muscle memory takes over. Because in the game, like the game speed's so quick. Like even though I just talked about aiming for that upfield shoulder, like it has to be a quick decision. Or like I have to have that thought, like immediately go, all right, upfield shoulder and go. I don't have time to sit there and, let me aim for upfield shoulder, then break down. Like, no, it has to be fast. And when things are going so quick, man, there's going to be sometimes you miss things, right? But learning not to arm tackle, really wrap guys up, driving your feet, near leg, near shoulder, all those types of things are big. But he's right. A lot of those drills that they do work are, good tackle drills that kind of just train that muscle memory that way. When it comes to game time, you're not sitting there just thinking about it. Your natural muscle memory takes over and you just do it. But I feel like that guy asked LT that question like 3 times. And I remember LT just kind of didn't really have the best answer for it. Cause it's like, it's not like, I guess you could, because without being able to tackle a quarterback in practice, you could probably have somebody else at like a quarterback and really work on like bringing guys down, you know what I mean? But really it's just reps, man, and just having good fundamentals at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And really just finishing the play. You got to finish the play. You can't be lazy. You can't stop early, think you got him, like, bring his ass to the ground. And sometimes it ain't easy. Like you said, you got some of these big quarterbacks, man. You got to be, you can't be arm tackling those guys for sure. Like Lenora Sellers, you got to come ready to play.
When you look at last season, sometimes the rush defense was really good. Sometimes it fell off a little bit. Was there a common thread when it did struggle?
I think schematically, when you're dealing with 1+ style offenses, right? You're going to be more effective in the run game when you use all 11 bodies in the run game. That's just simple math and numbers, right? And that's about as far as I can go with math and numbers, right? But when it comes to being able to stop the 1+ quarterback run, right? Those are elements where you have to have numbers and leverages at the point of attack, and you got to count for one more person out of the core. And so there's certain elements to, do you want to sell the farm, right? And say, hey, I'm tired. I don't want to give up a 4-yard run every now and then, but at what cost, And that was one of the things I think we did a good job of last year, is limiting explosive plays and finding ways to create enough negatives as the season went on, right, to be able to get the offense into second and long off schedule style plays. But naturally, when you deal with a quarterback run system, you're just going to give up a few more yards in the run game, and unless you want to play that game, right, of where a guy can throw it over top. And to me, the game of football now is about limiting explosives that the offense can create, especially in the passing game.
So I'm sure you guys are probably picking up what he's saying, but if not, so basically those 1+ runs, right? So this is like starting to really get in depth, and when people are getting frustrated, like, oh, why don't you just do this? Like, this is what you have to make that decision, right? So what he means by that is, like, say you're zone read type action. You got 5 blockers up front, obviously. You have that back who technically turns into a blocker. And if they have a tight end in there, I mean, that's 5, 6, 7 guys blocking for the quarterback now carrying the ball. If you think about that from a numbers perspective, think about it from a defensive side of things. If you have a regular 4 down front and say you have 2 backers, because think about it, if they're in 11 personnel, that means they got 3 wide receivers. So that even if you had a 4-3 system, that third guy would be walked out more than likely. Meaning in the box, you really only have 4 down guys, maybe 2 backers. That's 6 to their 7. Even if you have an extra guy, that's 7 on 7. Who's the free runner? Who's the tackler? Because the quarterback's got the ball. That's what he's describing. So in certain situations like that, you do have to try to find ways to get an extra free hitter. And when you make that decision, that's what he's saying. Like, you got to pick and choose, right? Like, you want to have an extra guy down there, you're a little bit less on the back end. You could give up something back there. Like, as a coordinator or a defensive coach, you've got to think about these things. I'm just glad he's explaining these. And I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people probably know what he's talking about when he's talking about 1+. But I'm glad he's bringing that up, because a lot of people really, that just goes over their head. And people are just, oh, just do this. But he's right. You do have to pick a poison, especially nowadays with the schemes and formations that you see out of offenses. You kind of do have to settle, right? It's like, all right, we'll be a little bit lighter here, and we got to be okay giving up the 3 or 4 yard, runs here or there to protect ourselves on the back end, given the looks that they're giving us. Because at the end of the day, as a defense, you're looking to respond. You've got to react. And so when the offense is throwing different things, it's just, defense is not just like, oh, we're going to call this and just go out and, like, you have to understand what they're trying to do to you. That way you can protect yourself as well as react. So it's a big, it's like a chess match, man, especially between these coordinators. But really, I just like that he's really breaking it down like this, because, I mean, he's 100% right. Those are the decisions that him and his staff have to make every single down, depending on what they're getting. And especially in today's college football, man, a lot more dual threat guys, quarterback runs. We'll see a lot of it probably against Florida State. That's something they're going to have to decide on how they're going to try to defend an offense like that.
Ray Roos talked about James Harrison being a guy that you love to watch play. What kind of power do you see from Quay? And I mean, obviously him and James are 2 different body types, but any crossover there?
I haven't thought about it necessarily from that perspective, but James Harrison would be one that I would want Quay to play like as well. I think Quay is on a team full of freaky people, Quay is the freakiest. You know what I mean? He is freaky athletic.
Pause.
And I think he's a special talent in terms of his strength. You watch him at the point of attack. When we started talking about violent hands, which is one of our Bama fundamentals that we continue to stress and harp on, Quay's ability to destroy blocks and get off and make plays. There was a play against Auburn, a guy came and pulled against him. I mean, absolutely obliterated him at the point of attack. Those are things, right, that show up on tape in terms of his strength and physicality. But ultimately, right, it's about knowing. What I like about Quay is, like, knowing when to and when not to, from a physical standpoint, be too aggressive. And I think he's learned a lot last year with the experience that he had, I think he's what I would call, has turned himself into a controlled, aggressive player.
What's it like working with Coach Grubb, and how do you guys complement each other?
Well, we're both really competitive people, and so in that way, we don't compliment each other at all. But it's fun. It's fun competing against him every day. The experiences that he has had and that I've had, and we've never got to work together, but it's really enjoyable talking ball in the off season. I think when you see the game from a holistic view, which I think both of us kind of see the game, we have an appreciation for the other side of the ball and what's good scheme and what are good fundamentals, what are the things so we kind of bounce those ideas off of each other, which is really great. I think we're both aggressive in nature. We have kind of an attacking style mentality. We're going to be aggressive offensively. We're going to be aggressive defensively. There's a variation of scheme things that we do, right? I'd say we probably both carry, a decent amount of scheme. But ultimately, what's fun about him is that he has a sense of urgency to better his side of the ball. And hopefully if I get up in the morning the right way and take the steps right to do the same thing defensively.
Oh, sorry, we got an ad. Sorry, guys. Hey, we were rolling without an ad for a minute. I thought we were good. But I will say him and Grubb definitely they compete out there 100%, man. Seeing some of those team drills, man, they definitely they're throwing their best shot at each other. And I think, that's going to definitely bring a lot of good competition out there, but it's kind of fun to see them go back and forth. But they definitely do have that kind of competitive edge with each other, man. It's fun to watch.
We are the pushers, right? The coordinators are the ones that are holding everybody accountable to the standard, right? From a detail standpoint of accomplishing the vision that we have in our heads, right? So he's fun to work with. Really enjoy it.
How comfortable is Justin Jefferson, like on the field in your scheme? What have you put?
Well, JJ is a very instinctive football player, and I think schematically we're built for instinctive players to be able to cut it loose and go play, right? So there's certainly an element of discipline that any great defense has to play with, but there's certain creative freedoms and instinctive freedoms that we try to tap into schematically on defense, and I think JJ, this is a really good fit for him.
How's Noah Carter coming along? Yeah,
Noah's doing a really good job. I think it's so fun, watching guys grow in their discipline. And usually sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And then ultimately it just starts to click. Yanze Pierre is a great example of that. This is Yanze's 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Yanze's 3rd year for us. And you're starting to see, him just take those steps in the right direction. This is Noah Carter's 2nd year, and you see him taking steps in the right direction, but eventually there'll come a point where, if he'll keep pushing, you just see a massive step that a guy takes, and then all of a sudden he's a different person from a maturity standpoint, from a discipline standpoint, from accountability. And so it's fun to be able to kind of watch those guys move in that trajectory.
Coach, moving to an interior standpoint, can you just talk about what you've seen from the interior of the Alabama defensive line, from guys like Jeremiah Beeman and other guys like Tim Keene and that group and stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously having TK back for another year is huge. Not just physically and who he is as a football player, but the accountability that he has in that room for a bunch of other younger players. I think he does a great job of holding that room accountable, of pushing the standard in that room. Beeman's a great example of a guy that grew up fast, where he was a year ago as a true freshman at the beginning of the season to the role that he played for us in the bowl game and played it well, to where he was in the springtime to now. This dude has made great strides. He feels like a veteran player out there, even though he hasn't had some of the reps across the last season that maybe even Xavier Brown or another true freshman had. And so really proud of those guys. I think, Freddie and Jamie Mosley, those guys are doing a great job of really pushing that group from a physicality standpoint. These are the dog days of fall camp where you got to kind of push them through. The big guys, they got to be pushed, right now. They don't naturally want to run around the field for 60 snaps or whatever it may be, including individuals. So like the direction of that group, but certainly their maturity and development is going to be a huge indicator to our success.
Charlie, you got one last
Yeah,
question?
you bring back Keon and Bray at safety, but what have you seen from the guys behind them from like a depth standpoint?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to put the cart before the horse saying this here, but I do think to this point we have shown a significant amount of maturity and development from our defensive back room. You know, you think about where we were going into the Tennessee game a year ago, and I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, right? We played 6 players for 5 positions up until that game, right? And I'm talking the vast majority of the snaps when it mattered most, right? And then 5 of those guys went out. And so, you know, we are in a much better position now with the depth. And I would say probably one of the more aggressive turnarounds that I've ever seen from one year to another year in terms of guys that you trust to be able to get on the field. And I think that's a tip of the cap, right, in terms of what Courtney Morgan and our defensive staff have done in recruiting. And then I think the development that you've seen from Maurice Lindquist and Jason Jones to bring those young guys along has put us in a position to go compete at a much higher level this year than from a depth standpoint than we were a year ago.
So there you have it. That was Alabama defense coordinator Kane Wommack speaking to the media yesterday. Glad we got to circle back to that because a lot of good stuff from there. We reacted to about half of it, but we'll take a quick time out here, maybe kind of just put a bow on everything that he said, but a lot of good stuff from that. I think we're open on the phone lines. You guys want to get in on the action, man. 205-342-9904 is the number. More than welcome to do that. We got plenty of stuff in the chat we'll discuss as well. So all that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. Ty 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll be right back. Man, I don't know if it's my stream or what, man. The sound is acting funny. Let's see, we got John Christopher Jackson, Buck Hunter from another. Really enjoy the show. Easy way you break stuff down from Swansboro, North Carolina. All right. Where your wife's from? Good deal, man. That's what's up. Oh, you're from Reform. Okay, I got you. Dog hunting up here in the Carolina as well. Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Good deal. Carolina, Alabama connection, man. Like myself, man. That's what's up. I appreciate that, man. Compliment. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Where's your dad? Is he at South Carolina practice getting some scouting info? Nah, man. I don't, dude. He's like Where's Waldo, man. He's like Where's Waldo. He was doing. Funny enough, so he randomly got into doing some like Uber stuff, like because he had like one of those nice GMC Denali's, and he used to always be driving around bored. And I guess somebody recommended, like, man, you should just do some Uber stuff. So he started like doing Uber just to get out the house, man, because he he was doing like ministry stuff. So he just goes and speaks or does something like a couple times a week. But like other than that, he's kind of retired, so he didn't have anything else to do. So he started just doing that. And I don't know if he just I don't know. I mean, because obviously we were doing the show on here, but I don't know if he kind of just got over it or what. But he started doing the Uber a lot. He'd be like doing it like while we were doing the radio show. And I was like, dude, like you can't do that, bro. Like lock in. So then he ended up started doing the Uber a lot. And then now he ended up taking on like a pastor's position at a church in Greenville, South Carolina. And so he's doing that. But I mean, throughout the week, I mean, he's still pretty much free. He's not doing the Uber stuff like that no more, especially now that he's like full-time preaching. But nah, he's around. Like he'll hop on here like he hops on like once or twice a week randomly. I have no idea when. There's not like a schedule or nothing. He just pops up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, he did say he said that he'll be on here during the season a lot, meaning like he at least made it seem as if he'd be on here like at least a few times a week during the year. So we'll see about that. I'll be honest with you, man. It's kind of a hit or miss. I hope that's the case. I know a lot of people enjoy him being on here. I do myself. It's a lot of fun when he's on here, the back and forth. But at the end of the day, man, I can't force him to do anything, bro. He kind of just does what he does. Facts. He's like Roman Reigns, bro. He pops up for the big events, the PLEs, and then he just dips. I'd have no idea. He's out. Roman Reigns. And welcome back into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, we just heard from Coach Kane Wommack speaking to the media yesterday. A number of good things. Now, I went ahead and broke down, half of the things that he was talking about during it, so I didn't forget. But if there's anything from that you guys in the chat, our listeners on radio, that you got from that you had questions about or you wanted to discuss, man, drop it here in the chat. I know we had a couple of people asking some questions throughout, but just refresh it if you wanted to ask a question about that. But plus one quarterback run stuff. Glad he brought that up. That definitely is a big point of emphasis nowadays. That doesn't really get talked about. I'll be honest. I don't even hear a bunch of even the commentators. I don't even know if they talk about it a whole bunch. But it's a big deal, and it's something that a lot of coordinators. I mean, it's a headache trying to figure that out. But again, a recap is just imagine when your quarterback is running the football. You have a quote unquote +1, right? Because they now have extra blockers. Normally, if you think about it, quarterback was never really in the equation. It was almost like he's either handing the ball off or throwing it. But when you add him as a runner, he's kind of now added. It's called a +1. That's where the +1 comes from. But it's tough to defend, man. It's tough because you got to find a way to get an extra hat in there, because it's a numbers game, and that's what he was describing. So. I like that response. Liked him talking about the, implementation of things, schematically, fundamentally trying to force more negative plays. That's going to be fun to see this season, how they mix it up. I think again, I said it the other day, but I do think they'll be aggressive. I think they'll probably run a number of pressures. I mean, he's an aggressive caller. I will say that. I do believe last year sometimes things felt a little bit predictable at times, but he's not afraid to get aggressive, and I feel like he's going to lean into that even more this year, especially given that they want to force more negative plays. So how they get to that, whether it's fire zone type stuff, he's called some cat blitz. I've seen him call cat blitz on first down, just kind of throwing it at you. Even third down stuff, we saw them really load up, bring 6-7 guys at you. I mean, they'll do it. So we'll see. Plus the whole mug stuff. I mean, they're even repping it during practice. I mean, from a first and second down point. So wouldn't be shocked if you see a lot of, different little looks and nuances this season. But still, I mean, they're still going to, have their bread and butter. It's just I think they'll have different little nuances in there, which would be pretty interesting. He did talk about the secondary group, specifically the safeties. I do think Mincy's going to end up being one of those guys, that steps up in that room. I think he'll be a really good player this upcoming year, man. I'm excited about him. I'm trying to think. I know he got asked about the interior defensive line. Obviously, we've been talking about them. Jeremiah Beeman, Edric Hill, some of those guys stepping up. I think it'll be good as well. Am I missing anything? I don't know. You guys remind me if I missed something that you had a question about. Let me know. Marcus says, "I'm glad that Coach Wommack is aggressive. People just have to understand that being aggressive comes with a huge risk, especially if you guess wrong or someone misses an assignment." Absolutely, 100%. You are right. You got to have the right balance of it, right? And that's what I was saying, was it yesterday or maybe the day before, whether it's with the mug stuff or, whatever the case may be, you do have to be prepared for that. And you're right. The misassignment thing, sometimes it's not on the coordinator. Sometimes you can be aggressive and that ends up being the right call. But if someone, like you just said, there's a mental error, they miss an assignment, man, you can leave yourself very exposed or very vulnerable. And that can lead to negative plays. So it is big, right? I mean, but if you execute it well, it can be a big problem, right? I mean, I look back in Carolina, my third year, we had our defensive coordinator came from Baylor. What was his name? Golly, I think his first name was Phil, but I'm forgetting his last name. But anyway, he loved calling, all out pressure on third downs. That was his go-to. And I remember thinking, I'm like, boy, this is aggressive, right? I mean, like we're bringing like 7 guys. So it literally was like, all out pressure. And he, so you see that, right? But like I feel like he called like every third down. And the thing was, I mean, we obviously had more than they could block. Cause I mean, think about it. If you're bringing 7 guys and they only have, even if they max, I mean, you got 5 offensive linemen, say they leave a tight end in there, they leave the running back in there. If you think about it, that means they only have 3 guys running routes and you still got 4 guys to cover. So from a numbers standpoint, I mean, it's 7 on 7 in terms of the rush, but you do have the upper hand on the back end. Still, though, it just takes, like you just said, one guy to just get beat or something quick, whatever. But I will say, I mean, we had so many batted balls or just a quarterback just having to get rid of it. But you guys play Madden. You know how it is. What's that play that everybody was like engage 8 or something like that? Just bring the house. If they're ready for it, they see it coming, and they hit something quick, you could be in trouble. But that is a good point. So we'll definitely we'll be on the lookout for. We'll feel it out, right? We'll see it. Maybe it ends up being a little bit too aggressive and he backs off. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not mad at it. I would rather you force the issue than us go back to revert to, what was it, like 2022 when we played Tennessee, I think, when we lost, and we were just rushing 3, playing a little safety net coverage, and we were getting picked apart. That was driving me nuts. So I'd rather be a little bit aggressive. Now, obviously, if you need to make some changes, you make some changes, cool it down a little bit. What else did we have on here? Christian, how did they approach coaching to you when they introduced all these ticky-tack roughing the passer penalties? Mike, do you mean like specifically on just like that roughing the passer? I mean, in terms of that, the way we went about it was if the quarterback got rid of it, man, stay off of him. You know what I mean? Like, because it used to be the quarterback gets rid of it. You had about a second that we still could go, lay a hit on him and it wouldn't be a problem. But with them being a lot more sensitive with that stuff, man, we changed it to where it was like, once he gets rid of the ball, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, even a push you got to be careful with. I've seen guys get roughened because they push the quarterback, right? And the quarterback falls dramatically. Like, you got to be a smart football player, man. Like, and it's annoying because the game that we grew up playing, I mean, it was all about being physical, going to hit people. Like, that was the fun part of it, right? But you have to understand that you can't put yourself in a vulnerable spot. You can't put your team in a bad spot. And there's, it's a discipline factor. You just got to understand when to lay up. Now, that doesn't mean you should, risk. All right, say if you're coming in on him and it's coming close, he's throwing the ball, you still can hit him. But if you know he just released it, lay off of it, back off of it. That was our biggest thing. That, it's not like we really repped that in the drill. It was more of we just were conscious of it and we made sure of it. In practice, obviously you can't hit a quarterback, but if it was in a scrimmage, you can't hit him anyways. It really you just have to assess it in a game, right? We just go back and watch during the game. Like, we'd watch our tape during the games, and even if they didn't call it, coach would probably point out like, hey man, that was kind of close. That's probably, lay off on them next time on that one. But again, without being able to hit quarterbacks in practice, there's only so much you really can do in terms of like finishing on quarterbacks to really get those reps, other than really just doing it in the game. So that being said, we got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, I believe we got Marty on the phone lines. We'll get to him. Got a few more things to dive into. All that coming up. Hour number 2 right here on the Miller's Edge, 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Let's see. You think Bama will run more man coverage in order to have more bodies in the box to help generate more effective pass rush? It's a good question, man. They ran a lot of man coverage last year. Given that the whole thing was like the vision coverage, right? That's what everybody talked about. That's what you saw on film when you watched them. But they ended up running a lot of man coverage last year. So I would not be shocked if we see a lot of it, especially like, my thing is when you have the players, when you have the personnel, you got the talent. I mean, why not? A lot of coaches like that. When they have that luxury to just call man and let their guys just cover, let the other guys go eat, And I think you've got the personnel to do it. I mean, I think Damani and ZV, I think those guys definitely hold their own in man for sure. We'll see how this whole Husky position ends up playing out. I mean, Deshaun Jones, Drake Kirkpatrick, I know, and I think Cam Calhoun worked a little bit there so far. That'll probably be who ends up in that Husky spot. I'll probably say like Deshaun Jones right now. And the safety spots, man, I feel like those are two. I mean, I feel like Keon and Bray are solid in pass coverage. So I think Beam is going to be a problem this year. Yeah, I think he's going to get some good opportunities, man. I think he's going to have a good year, or definitely an increased role. Tim is obviously solid. You know what you're getting out of him, but I think Beeman is a guy who he's powerful, man. He's strong. He's a big dude, heavy-handed. He's got a lot of power to him, man. I think he is going to step up. A lot of people are excited about him in the building. I mean, they've been really pleased with his progress. I mean, even going back to the spring, he had a really good spring as well. So he's trending the right direction for sure, 100%. Oh, my bad. You said, what's up, bro? What's good? It's Dev. What's up, Dev? Oh, Dev. Oh, shoot. What up, bro? Dev, I ain't paying attention. My guy. That's what's up, bro. Is there anyone that the media is not talking about? It looks like they'll be a big contributor to the defense, regardless of position. Man, let me think. That the media is not talking about Jordan Renaud. I feel like, I've been talking about him a good bit, but I don't really hear the media really bringing his name up a whole bunch. I think he would be the first guy that comes to mind of somebody who's kind of flying under the radar. Mincy, I feel like, maybe people have been talking about him, but I hadn't heard a whole bunch, but I definitely would probably say, I would say Renaud, Mincy. Let me think. See anybody else in the secondary that they're not talking about? They could be a big contributor. That's tough. Ivan Taylor, I wouldn't say he's probably going to be a big contributor, honestly. He's younger. I don't know how much he'll even contribute this year, but he's a good player. Yeah, I would say probably if I just had to name a couple, I would say Jordan Renaud for sure. I think Jordan Renaud is going to be, in terms of pass rush, LT, Quay, Jordan Renaud, Yonze Pierre, I think those are good. And then you got James Smith inside. I think those names are going to be kind of the names you'll hear when it comes to getting out to the quarterback. The other guys I feel like people talk about, or Yonze maybe, but I feel like people mention him. Would you ever be a position coach or get into coaching? Man, that's a great question. A lot of people always ask me that. The time constraints, man, it's a little too demanding for me.
Waterproofing.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of former guys either get into media or coaching. Media kind of works out for me. Number one, I think it kind of just worked well because my dad did it when he got done playing, so I kind of grew up around it, even though, funny enough, man, I hate public speaking. I'm better with it now because I do it for a living, but, man, you used to not be able to pay me to do public speaking. But I kind of always had like a natural gift with it, I believe, just whether it was from being around it or I guess, I don't know, genes, who knows. But my dad used to do radio and TV and all that stuff, and
we are here.
I used to be with him during that. But I think I love coach. I love working with guys. But the 7 to 9 thing, like media allows me to be flexible. You know what I mean? Like I do some real estate stuff. You know what I mean? Like I like being able to kind of do a number of different things. So right now, this is kind of more up my alley. But I wouldn't mind being like like just working with guys. Which C-Rob told me to come up there and work with those outside backers whenever. You know what I mean? So like I'm cool with stuff like that, like just getting some working with the dudes after practice or something. No one's talking about special teams. Yeah, that's a good point.
Experience. No one is
kicker. I think Talty's looked pretty good so far through camp. at kicker. I'll give you that update. Punter, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really paid attention to.
And construction.
But you're right. We probably should start paying a little bit more attention to that. No one's talking about it.
100.9.
And welcome back into this Thursday edition of Miller's Edge, Todd 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, let's do this. We heard from Kane Wommack. We broke that down. We answered a few questions. Let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Marty from Arkansas. Marty, welcome in.
Hey, Christian. Yeah, I'd rather be aggressive than play back. And it'd be 3rd and 8 or 4th and 3rd and long. Come get him. If he beats you, you rush at 8. He can't block everybody. Just make him throw it quick and hope you get to play. But if he beats you, he beats you. I mean, but at least don't let play back and let him have all day and pick you apart. I'd rather come after, even on sometimes fake them out on 1st down when they're going to throw. Come get them. They don't expect a blitz. Come off that edge or send. Like in the NFL, send that cornerback. They don't know he's coming. No one there. Boom, hit that quarterback and knock him out.
Yeah,
rattle his shoes a little bit. But you got to play discipline. That's like what you said, like in the Vanderbilt. At least we got right now, we're going to play a running quarterback against Florida State. But we got 30 days to get ready for that monkey Gus Malzahn's offense. And be disciplined and don't turn your head the wrong way and let him come in the backside and you be looking the other way and he's running down the field. We got 30 days to get ready for that. It's like when you play Navy or Army or those running teams, you only got 1 week. That's why a lot of teams you can't get ready for it in 1 week. But we got 30 days to get ready for Gus Malzahn's bubblegum offense. So we shouldn't have no excuses that we couldn't play, didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge. You just think about Gus Malzahn. I mean, immediately what comes to mind, I mean, gimmicky, right? Tempo. He utilizes tempo with his offenses. Definitely knows how to work with a dual threat quarterback, throwing different things at a defense. And he's going to try to keep a defense honest, right? He's going to try to keep you on your toes. So it's going to be a fun little challenge, but I think it's a good one to get the year started, being on the road as well. I think it's a nice way to, kind of get the season going, get our feet wet. But you're right. Having that amount of time to kind of plan and prep is going to be key. But then once I found out, Kane and, Gus Malzahn, they kind of go back, man, I thought that was interesting. I'm excited to see that matchup, but yeah, I can already see that. I mean, they're going to utilize Tommy Castellanos probably in a number of different ways, try to get him, use his legs to, make some plays. Obviously, I think they're going to probably be a little gimmicky and do some stuff to try to, throw us off as a defense. But, like you said, you got plenty of time to prep for it. So that being said, sometimes, man, even though there's only so much you can prep as much as you want, but it's hard to know exactly what they throw at you. They'll probably throw some stuff out there that they hadn't even shown. Granted, Gus Malzahn is just now getting there, so this is first year with this personnel. So I wouldn't be shocked if they implement some stuff you didn't really expect. But yeah, it's going to be a good little challenge, I believe, and I hope we do attack it aggressively and then really get after it.
Just like what you said, we got to play discipline. Like when you broke down that Vanderbilt game, how undisciplined we were to let Pablo do whatever he wanted to because we were undisciplined. We just got to be disciplined. Everyone stay in their lanes, and we'll be all right. All right, I got another question for you.
Sure,
right?
Talk to me.
Do you think anybody in the SEC will go undefeated in the conference? And do you think anybody will lose all their conference games?
Man, do I think anybody will go undefeated in the conference? Honestly, no, I do not. What do I think anybody will lose all of them? That was the second part?
Yeah, it's the second question.
Oof. Lose all of them? I'll be honest with you. I mean, I feel like you got to at least escape with at least one win. So, I mean, I'd probably say no to that as well. I don't think anybody will, but I mean, who knows? I was looking at a couple teams earlier, and it's just interesting, man. I mean, you know what's funny, Marty? I looked at a number of teams, and when you look at Georgia, LSU, I mean, even Texas, a lot of similar things, I mean, pop up with them. I feel like really offensive line is probably a big key for all these teams, and you just kind of don't know exactly what I guess is going to be the case, right? There's a lot of people being replaced on these offensive lines, but that being said, man, I feel like all these teams just kind of feel like they're in that similar realm. I don't think Texas is above Georgia or vice versa, or LSU, or even us. I feel like we're all kind of hovering in that same realm. And that being said, I mean, we got to face Georgia, so obviously one of us is going to lose. Texas, and then obviously we play LSU, so one of us has to lose that one. And then Texas, does Texas play Georgia in the regular season? I can't remember. I don't have the schedule pulled up. I feel like they might.
Texas plays Georgia at Georgia this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so to answer your question, with that being said, yeah, I don't see anybody going undefeated in the conference.
Okay. Last night we were going through it, and we were deciding. I don't know, Kentucky will win all their games. They're kind of hurting. That's all. But I think State will play a lot better than a lot of people think. I think they could win 4 games.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't want to. That's Chase's school, man. I was like, if anybody's going to have that risk, it probably could be State. But I think State will be. Hey, Chase, I think they'll be a little bit better than they were last year, though. If that gives you any hope.
Thank you for the confidence.
Go ahead, Marty.
They went to Mississippi State, but I mean, there's where it just depends when you play people too. And who you played before. It's just like Missouri. You look at Missouri's schedule, it sets up perfect for them to have a great year. Their first 5 games are at home, and the last one is Alabama. They could be 4-0 ranked when Alabama comes in there for that 5th game. Then they go on the road for 2. Then they play 2 at home, and then I think they play their last 2 or 1 at Arkansas. Arkansas hasn't beaten them in 6 years, and I don't think Arkansas is going to beat them this year. So I mean, there's where you look at the schedule and the way it falls. It's just like that's another thing too. Coaches. That's coaches. Kirby Smart will never beat Alabama because he gets so uptight, and he's got 2 weeks. He got 2 weeks. They're going to talk about, man, you're 1-6 against Alabama. You haven't beat Alabama except for when they lost their 2 best wide receivers in that national championship game and all that. You got 2 weeks. That's what was wrong with Johnny Majors when he played Tennessee. He'd be up so tight that he would lose because he wouldn't coach the same way. Even George Peters would always write about it in his press seminar column, the late George Peters, how Johnny Majors was so tight. When he stabbed old Fat Phil in the back, and then Fat Phil beat Tennessee. That's how Fat Phil become coach, because he beat Tennessee. But coach, there's some coaches that get so uptight when they play a rivalry game that they coach a different way. And you watch Kirby Smart. Go watch the films. Watch how Kirby Smart coached, and then watch how he coached in the Alabama game.
So you're saying you think Kirby's nerves get to him when he faces Alabama?
Yep, he coaches a different way.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? It's funny you say that because we used to always not mess with him, but we used to always kind of joke with each other. Like we could sense, like Kirby, he gets real high strung, man. Like coaching, right? He gets so worked up, and when we were in those big games and stuff, you could just sense. I mean, like he would just spaz out, man. And so, you know what's funny? You're probably right. He probably does get real worked up. And I'll be honest with you, man. As a player, you can kind of sense when your coaches are almost a little nervous. They're not going to act like they are, and y'all might think it's crazy to hear this, but there was times you could sense our coaching staff was a little I wouldn't say they were nervous, but they were definitely a little more antsy for certain games, or worried about stopping certain plays or things like that. We could sense it when it was like that, and then you probably guys could guess what games those were. In any of those games, we struggled with certain things. A lot of the time, I'm not going to lie to you, our coaching staff, I felt like we could feel the uneasiness, and I almost feel like it kind of rubbed off on us at times, if I'm just being completely honest with you. Like, for example, when we played I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go back to when I was playing. Maybe like when we went on the road to play Auburn, we ended up losing that last regular season game. You know what I mean? Like we were trying to prep for this wasn't Kirby. That was a different year, but still we were trying to prep for Auburn's offense, knowing all the stuff they're going to throw at us. And you could just sense it's almost as like there's just so much stress that it just was like we weren't really our full self. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. He's got 2 weeks, and you know how radio is, and he's off for 2 whole weeks to think about beating Alabama. It's going to get to him. That's why, I mean, you can watch certain coaches. I mean, you played, you know how coaches are. But, I mean, I go around high school, and I talk to certain coaches, and they say, yeah, certain games we want to win, but, man, we're worried about this or worried about that, and we are a little coaches get a little nervous in games. So I would just say, but I mean, I never thought about it till when George Peters started, and I would follow that, and Johnny Majors, and not that I followed Tennessee, but my friends all in the neighborhood were big Orange fans, and George Peters would write down all these things about Alabama and that because he knew Bear Bryant real well and had a lot of stuff on us from him. But I mean, there's where, I just think in that game but I mean, like what you said, I think too, it's who you play before and who you play after in the schedule and when it falls. Don't you think a certain game, even in the NFL, it's where you play them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I think it definitely can play a role. I mean, that's why a lot of people, when they're doing their predictions, they look at, where the bye weeks fall, previous opponents, you know what I mean? Because that is a thing, right? If you have a stretch, which, typically we have a stretch in like October, right? Where we got to play, like Tennessee, South Carolina, whoever. You look at it, you just know, those games, they add up, right? They're going to be tough games. And when you have a tough game back to back to back, 3 in a row, it's definitely a challenge, you know what I mean, to keep your guys, going, right? Because I mean, playing the SEC, you're always going to be playing against good competition, and as a player, man, it's physical, you get beat up, and you just got to push through. But yeah, no, I think that you do take into consideration a number of those factors as well. Home field advantage is one. I mean, there's a number of things. Playing like you're expected to play your best ball in November, so I mean. You look at back in 2023 when we played Texas, I'd argue that, if we played that same Texas team later on in the season, right, we probably would have saw a different result. I know they came here and they beat us, but think about how early that was in the year. Coach Saban was still talking about the cake still baking in the oven with the quarterback position. I think if we saw that same Texas team down the road instead of earlier in the year, probably different results. So I think you're right, Marty.
Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of times a lot of people think that Oklahoma, we play LSU the week before we play Oklahoma. And that LSU game, that's always a hard knocker, knock you silly, as we knocked out one of their quarterbacks. And that's what we're going to do to Nesmire when he comes this year. We're going to knock him out, make him crawl off the field. So, that's what we talk about all the time in LSU. You get the corn dogs ready to send to Tim Brando, and you knock the quarterback out, and then you go home happy. Because my best game I ever saw, and the only time I ever went to Tiger Stadium, and it was hard because I didn't know how to go down. I turned left right there, and they kept on telling me go down I-10 and run into the bayou. Then finally I got on the radio station. They're telling you the wrong way. Turn right here. And you'll run right in, and then I had to park and walk. But Yeldon, we beat them with that pass to Yeldon, and I walked out of there happy. And that's all, that's the only game in LSU I went to. But, I mean, there's where, you walk out good, and that's what, it's always great when you go on the road and win a game because you're the enemy, and only fans you got is your team and your coaches.
No doubt. I used to love playing on the road, man. There's nothing better than shutting, home crowd out and quieting that crowd. I mean, I don't know. Personally, as a defensive guy, I loved it. You know what I mean? It was definitely probably it's fun, making plays in your own stadium, having everybody going crazy when you make a play. But there's just something about being the villain. I loved playing that villain role and going on the road. And hopefully we adapt that mentality again because last year on the road, We ain't played too great, but hopefully they can learn to take on that mentality and learn to embrace that villain role, man, and take care of business. Marty, we appreciate you, man. Great stuff.
Okay. I'll yell at you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, man. Good deal. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back, we keep on rolling. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Those little instrumental beats, man. They got those producer tags on there. Appreciate the shout out in the cap. I feel bad. It's hard. Nah, man, no, you're good, bro. Of course, bro. No problem at all, man. Appreciate the support, man. Yes, sir. God bless you too, man. Appreciate you hopping on here, man. Yeah, man. Look, I think there's a lot of reasons to be really confident with this team and the direction we're headed, man. It's gonna be a fun one. Not gonna be easy. I mean, we got some challenges ahead of us, but it's gonna be fun. I think the best way I would describe it is I feel like we're better equipped for those challenges this time around than we were last year, given that it's year 2. Coaching staff has a year under their belt. You bring back, we technically did bring him back because he was here for a couple weeks. Ryan Grubb, obviously, look, I know we're beating a dead horse here, but I think that's going to make a big difference offensively. I really do. I don't think Nick Sherman was terrible, by any means last year, but there's just something different about having the guy that literally the entire country was pursuing, and his experience and expertise, calling plays, commanding an offense, being the guy versus, again, I know Nick Sheridan had been a coordinator at Indiana, briefly, but I mean, we're talking about here at the University of Alabama, guys. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to pay dividends. And then you add on to that he's still here. I just think we're better equipped this time around. And then even from a personnel standpoint, I think the receiver room's in a much better spot, way better. I mean, not even close, like light years ahead. Secondary, much better spot. I mean, really, defensively, the biggest Jahad Campbell, which is a huge loss, but I mean, you lose him. Tim Smith. Other than that, I mean, Q Robinson, you lose him, and he was definitely a productive guy before he got injured. But yeah, I feel like we're in a much better spot. So I definitely think there's a lot to be confident about. I think Kirby coaches not to lose against Alabama instead of trying to win, which is a huge difference. Yeah, look, man, I mean, he might have a little, I don't know, like he's overthinking it, because he has that rep right now, struggling with Alabama. I'm telling you, like from a coaching perspective, I mean, he runs hot, right? Like, meaning like he's wired up, you know what I mean? And I do feel like sometimes when you're too amped up, and you can sense it, like, when he's coaching on the sidelines, you can sense that he's running hot. I think sometimes you're not as clear, you know what I mean? Single game tickets on sale now against Oklahoma. It's kind of out there, isn't it? This meaning like later in the year. And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Reading some of these comments here on the YouTube stream. Again, we are live on YouTube. Check us out. Watch the show. Watch everything we throw up on the screen, all the interviews, clips that we pull up. You can see all that stuff, man. Check it out. It's free at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. Also live on Tide 100.9's Facebook page as well. Ephraim is in the chat. He's saying single game tickets are on sale. He said Tennessee and Vandy game tickets are already sold out. I don't know how true that is. I mean, that's what Ephraim's saying in the chat, but Chase, Vandy game being sold out already, man. I mean, do you think that's just because people really want us to get our lick back on Vanderbilt, or is that like some type of like parents weekend? I mean, obviously, I feel like every game is going to be sold out, but I'm saying this early though, is that normal? I'll be honest, I've never really paid attention to ticket sales like at this point. But Vanderbilt being sold out, like at this point, Chase, I mean, does that seem normal to you, or do you have any idea how that works?
I don't think that seems normal to me at all.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, like,
That's a head
obviously, like
scratcher, to be honest
LSU and
with
stuff,
you.
you expect those, I mean, done. Huh? What'd you say, Chase? I might have missed. Can you still hear me, Chase?
Sorry, Christian, I was on the phone lines.
No, you're good. What did you say? Yeah, he must be on the phone lines. All right. No worries. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, I don't think that's definitely different. Vanderbilt being sold out is interesting, but he said he's using the Bama ticket app. Damn. So either people, is there a special weekend for Vanderbilt weekend though? That's just
You think it's homecoming, or that's a different game?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, Chase, because I'm like, I mean, no disrespect to Vanderbilt, but I'm just saying, like, I just know, like, the games should all pretty much be sold out outside of the cupcake games, which normally, I'll be honest, in the past, Vanderbilt, even though they're SEC, that would be fringe, not kind of a cupcake game, but, you know, you get what I'm saying. QD said OU game is homecoming. So, damn, people just really want to see Pavia get shut up, I guess. I mean, have we launched Vanderbilt into like a new, like they're on a new level now, bro? I feel like they've got more motion. Or actually, let's not. Maybe we should take credit for that. Maybe it should be Pavia. I mean, Vanderbilt's they got some motion right now. Chase is kind of crazy, bro. You beat that's why you just can't let anybody beat Alabama, man. Whole program just changes, and you got dudes. I mean, who knows what his NIL value is right now with all this nonsense going on, but. Anyway, I had this pulled up on the screen. I just wanted to show you because was it Marty who just mentioned? Yeah, I think it was talking about Gus Malzahn, but like this is from last year. And this is just a glimpse. Like obviously I can't really play too much of these clips, but I just wanted to show a preview of like when we talk about Gus Malzahn's offense. I know you guys remember Gus Malzahn at Auburn, but I mean it's been a few years. I think he spent the last 4 because it was like 21, 22, 23. 20. I think Malzahn was at UCF for like 4 years. But anyway, this is the type of stuff you're dealing with as a defense, right? I mean, they start off. I mean, you got a bunch down at the bottom in the boundary, right? So you got a bunch to the boundary, 2 open receivers to the field up here, and then they're running some type of what looks like a jet motion, right? Then you got this. Wait, let me go back. Where did he? Like, dang it, that's the wrong play. Sorry, it's going to be hard to kind of cut all through this. Anyway, but then you got some type of, it's like an orbit action. It's not an orbit motion because it's post-snap, but you get what I'm saying. Some type of orbit action going on. They're going to be very smoke and mirrors, right? That's what we like to call it. They're going to throw stuff at you that makes you think, and that's why when we talk about being disciplined, man, it's going to be so important. I mean, because this is just one play. And a matter of fact, this is literally the second play of the game, you know? But when you're talking about defending offenses like this, man, discipline is key. You know, it's not just for option type offense. I mean, this is what you get. Like when we used to play Auburn, this is the type of crap that you would see. There's all types of movements, whether it's shifts and motions, pre-snap, post-snaps. You see the actions, right? And then you take into consideration the quarterback is a guy with running ability, that dual threat ability. You always got to be prepared for that, but they're going to run a lot of zone read type things, zone read actions. They're going to run a lot of play action type passes, and it's going to be important to have that discipline. And then on top of that, cherry on top is he's known to do some tempo, man. They'll get the tempo, and so you're running back to the football, trying to get line back up, trying to address the formation, the motions, and all that stuff, and it's going quick, man. You can find yourself in a blender real quick if you're not prepared. So it will be important, man, to be ready for this game. But as you see, I mean, faking the jet, faking the want to call it orbit type thing, get into a play action pass. There's going to be a lot of stuff like that, right? So I'm probably going to spend leading up to the first game, which again we are 23 days away. Wow, it's flying by. I'm spend some time watching some UCF tape, trying to get a better idea on Gus Malzahn, what he's been running the past couple years. with those guys there, because obviously he's a new offensive coordinator. I mean, they got a new quarterback. You can watch FSU from last year, maybe from more of a personnel standpoint. But from a schematic standpoint, you're probably better off watching a lot more UCF and getting a better idea on kind of what they might try to throw at you, which is it's going to be a test. It's going to be a good one, though. Looking forward to it, though. That being said, let's do this, because I know we got some folks lined up on the phone lines. I want to make sure we got plenty of time. Let's go ahead and take this time out, Chase. When we come back, we'll go. We got Smitty, we got Tommy, and others lining up. 205-342-9904 is the number. Quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to the phone lines right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Is underway now. We have over 160 2025 models in stock now. Every Altima, Armada, Frontier, Kicks, Murano, Pathfinder, Rogue, Sentra must be sold regardless of profit. And yes, 0% is still available on the Rogue, Murano, and Pathfinder. Don't wait. Shop Townsend Nissan today for your best selection. Townsend Nissan is your locally owned dealer, selling vehicles right way for 35 years.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit DriveSafeAlabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Are you ready for a splashing great time? Geyser Falls Water Park is open on Saturdays and Labor Day, and a guaranteed good time. Splash, slide, and ride your way through the South's most action-packed water theme park. It's nonstop fun for your friends and family, no matter what age they are. Go to geyserfalls.com today to get your passes, and be sure to follow us online. Come have the coolest summer ever at Geyser Falls Water Park.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor.
We used to call this play right here peanut butter. Believe it or not. Might be a different form of it, but it's very similar if it's not same thing. But basically it's like faking this like toss, quarterback running, but I feel like they're getting to it a little bit different here. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like in terms of things you'll see, I mean, they're gonna run a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, this quarterback at Florida State can run. Definitely looks a little bit smaller than their quarterback here, but you see what I mean? Like the discipline. And this is a tough play, because normally the guy who would be playing on the edge right here, he's going to be taught when that tackle blocks down to close. And then when you see that puller, he's going to normally kick that. But see, that's definitely going to, you talk about having right numbers and stuff, man. This is what we were talking about earlier too. You know, quarterback design runs that definitely cause a lot of issues, but like that guy's ass wrong. He's running up the field. He's just wasting himself. And you see that now, if this receiver blocked better, I mean, that's probably going for 6. But this is what I'm talking about with like Gus Malzahn. I mean, they're going to mix. You saw the play earlier. I mean, this is 2 little plays we just saw. And look, he went from a pistol spot. Like, that's what I'm telling you guys. It's sorry, I'm clicking around here because I know these stupid copyright stuff, man. Back starts in the pistol, gets to an offset spot, fake the sweep or toss, run some form of what we call it peanut butter. Yeah, he's going to throw some shit at you. Some stuff at you.
Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Nah, Marcus, edge guy is supposed to close. And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. Don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. Use that code, rnrcigars.com. But use that code Miller's Edge to get 20% off all your orders. Trust me, you guys, we need to take advantage of that. It's for you guys. Make sure you guys head on over there if you got any cigar needs, whether it's for yourself, a gift, you name it, man. Code Miller's Edge will take care of you, 20% off your orders. Plus, if you're looking for places to hang out, watch sport events, your games, all that good stuff, smoke a cigar, nice bourbon to pair with it, over 160 of them they got right there at R&R Cigars for you. You can do that at the mansion, man. They got TVs throughout. 2703 Gary Fitz Street is where you can find it here in Tuscaloosa. You can't miss it. The big old white mansion. You got to take advantage of it. Trust me, football season, that is the place to be if you're looking just to hang out and watch football, sporting events, and enjoy a nice cigar, man. You can't beat it, man. Plus, we got a big announcement that they will be announcing on the show as soon as everything gets finalized and stuff. We'll keep you updated with that, but be on the lookout for that. It's going to be some really, really good stuff. Because, again, that is R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up next. Smitty, welcome in.
Man, what's going on, Christian? How's it going?
Oh, man, I can't complain, brother. How are you?
Good, man. One thing, though, listen to Kane Wommack. He did the thing that, and I think Kane on the board, Coach the board did is also, the thing he knows when someone's a good coach. They openly talked about, in so many words, why did we win? Why did we lose? We know a lot of coaches don't think it's them. Or like, it's my system, it's going to work. And I know everybody's scared of Gus Malzahn. Let's be real on this. When the last time he developed a quarterback? Cam Newton was good regardless. He could have been coaching Cam Newton. He was going to be a number one pick. Bo Nix did not develop under him. Nick Marshall was always a running back playing quarterback, but he fit. I just think people are so nervous, and I think as long as you handle your business and not fall for the eye candy and maintain your discipline and be strong up front, I'm good because I'm not afraid of a quarterback that can barely throw 60%, complete 60% of his passes and got benched at Boston College. I'm sorry. If you got benched at Oklahoma or like USC, I get it. But Boston College, I'm sorry. I'm just being real about this.
No, I hear what you're saying. And for me, it's not so much being worried about Gus Malzahn. It's just, I'm just breaking it down from a football perspective. And
yeah,
I played against the dude. I can just tell you, man, even just watching the few little offensive plays I got pulled up on the YouTube stream here, man. I mean, you just know what you're getting from him, man. There's going to be, you mentioned eye candy. There's going to be a lot of eye candy, window dressing, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it, right? They're going to throw a lot at you pre-snap, post-snap. The good news is our offense does a lot of that. We might not have seen that a whole bunch in games last year at times, but I'm just telling you, it's in our playbook. So, like, we'll be prepared for that, and hopefully, adjusting and stuff like that will be things that we get good reps at in practice leading up to it. But as a defense, man, I mean, he does a number of things in his offense that really can just kind of, throw a defense off, and all it takes is for one guy to be out of position, to react slow, or to make the wrong read, and there you got to expose the play on your hands. So I'm just looking at it from that perspective, that it's something to keep in mind, something to be prepared for, and just know, like, when you play teams like that, it's no different. I mean, Vanderbilt had a game plan that they attacked us a certain way. Now, granted, they believe it or not, they out-physicaled us up front, and that was very disappointing.
That's the problem.
Right. But even then, schematically, I felt like they had a great game plan. It caused some hesitation for us, right? I mean, people talk about the option stuff. It wasn't like a traditional option type offense, but it was enough to really just cause some confusion, cause some hesitancy, and we saw how that went. So just imagine a team like Florida State that has better talent, offensive coordinator that also likes to do some similar type things just in terms of what he's going to throw at you. It can pose some challenges. Not saying it's something to be scared of, but it's something to be prepared for, and just know that, first game, you're already battling, first game type mistakes. You're trying to get your feet wet and stuff like that. So just something to think about, at least from my point of view. I think it's something to think about.
Yeah. And one thing, I got to bring up one team who I think is overrated by the media.
Who's that?
I'm like, everybody just penciling Clemson in to be a national title contender, right? And I'm like, hold on. Alabama pretty much gonna put on a stake in Salem, Oregon because I lost 4 games. Clemson lost 4 as well. They butt kicked a couple of times and they beat and lost to every game to an SEC team. And my thing is, okay, your quarterback come back to school. Okay. He's been there every other year. I know Peter Woods was guys coming back. He was there when they got their butts kicked. So I just feel like that they want a bad conference. Just a mediocre conference. I'll be nice. With 3 regular season losses. And I just think that maybe because people look at that type of stuff and they just get overly excited, maybe that's just a nice team who may at worst lose 2 regular season games, may be in. But I'm just not sure about that team being a national title contender.
And you, what team was that? I'm sorry, I missed the team.
Clemson.
Man, I'll say this, man. I know Clemson, they have a lot of talent. You know, personnel wise, they do have a lot of good players. And then you look at their schedule. I mean, it's a joke, right? I think that kind of part of the equation. You just kind of look at they're really. I mean, I think Miami's going to be good. I mean, in the ACC, at least they should be pretty solid. But outside of them, man, I mean, ACC is just kind of a joke. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, that first game they got to face LSU. Right. And I know it's game 1 and teams change a whole bunch throughout the year, but it will at least get an idea early on how they stack up against another team that's supposed to be really good in LSU. But I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. I mean, how they finished last year. I mean, you know, playing Texas, I mean, I wasn't really blown away by that performance. But people like the quarterback a lot and Klubnik. I mean, I know they got a number of guys in that defensive front. There's some really good players, and really even offensively, I think got a couple of receivers as well. So I don't know, Smitty. I'll be honest, man. I mean, like on paper, they look solid, but we'll see how that matches up. Yeah, but the schedule obviously is really what really pumps them up in terms of getting them to that point. Now, once they get to the playoffs, because I'm fully expect them to make it, we'll see how they fare when they really got to play some real competition.
Yeah, and thanks for taking my call. And I'll take this answer off the air. It's an NFL topic. Sorry, everybody. What if Caleb Williams ain't what the media said he's turned out to be, and Bryce Young may turn out to be the better quarterback? Because Caleb's got a lot of grace, and he had a lot more help in year 1 than Bryce Young did in year 1, skill position wise. But they just treat him with kid gloves. But I'm just saying, like, and I'm not even a Panthers or Bears fan. And I just saw like what Bryce did last year with that limit, with your number 1 receiver dropping every pass coming to him, and was in those games against great teams. And I'm thinking, media, maybe the Panthers may have made the right choice. We gotta let it play out, but you kind of get what I'm saying. And,
yeah. I mean, I think time will tell. You know, and again, I mean, I think we were talking about this yesterday, but like. The situation, man, it's so important, especially at the quarterback position. Yep. I mean, you got to have offense line. You got to have weapons. I mean, like, as good as Jalen has been, I mean, there's no denying. I mean, he's very fortunate to be in an organization that has a system that, I mean, is really, I mean, probably a dream for a quarterback. I mean, he's got a great receiver room, one of the best offensive lines, and a really good defense. You know what I'm saying? So, like, those things matter, right? That's just a fact. And Bryce Young, unfortunately, with the Panthers, I mean, they're building that up for him, and I think hopefully we'll start to see those results pay off. I mean, they've gotten multiple first-round receivers. They've addressed the offensive line room in a decent manner. So I'm with you. I'll say this from a talent standpoint, bro. Bryce Young can outplay Caleb Williams, man. Like and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. Like Bryce Young, I don't think people really understand how special that dude is. Like, I mean, in terms of just having that it factor. I'm telling you, once he's in that right spot or has the right stuff around him, man, he's going to be a really, really good football player. Caleb Williams, I think, will be good too. But I think what separates Bryce to me is, I think, the mental aspect from it, man. I think Bryce just kind of has it figured out a little bit better. I feel like, you know, Caleb Williams, I mean, I don't know if it's immature. Sometimes it seems like he's like throwing his team on it. But just that, to me, like that type of attitude, you're setting yourself back. Bryce Young and the way he approaches it, he's going to give himself a chance regardless. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't be shocked if Bryce Young ends up outplaying him either.
Yeah, and the thing with Bryce is he sold me how good he could be when that Georgia game when all the receivers are down, only had one good running back, he kept him in the game, even in the loss. In that Tennessee game where they gave him the most points in school history, kept him in it. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the guy, because everything ain't going to go your way all the time. Even that Auburn game, he can't let him back. Everything ain't going to go your way. You may not have all the talent in the world. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy did it. Even last year in Carolina, he kept them in a lot of games, just had the defense gave the most points in history. So that right there goes a long way. And the team likes him, and how he handled his benching went a long way as well. But that's all I have, Christian. Keep up the great work, good brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Smitty. Good stuff, man, as always. Good deal. Yes, sir. All right, let's do this. I know we got Tommy on here, so we'll hit our final timeout when we come back. We'll get to Tommy and we'll wrap things up on this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. We'll be right back. All right, let me circle back. Marcus said, so is that defender in the right spot? He looks out of position. The quarterback and running back don't have the greatest pitch relationship, but he can't make a play on both. Yeah, so like I said, he's supposed to close, right? So anytime you get a down block like that, you're supposed to close, meaning like he should have closed, and as soon as this puller came, you got to address him, right? So normally, like, if you're a quarterback player and that happens, normally you're like boxing that, whether that's depending on how they're playing it with this backer. But I would say this backer's probably supposed to be scraping. And I would say this this DB right here is probably more so of a pitch guy. You know what I mean? Because he's supposed to close. The reason I'm saying he just wastes himself is because he's playing the middle. He's useless. Like, he's absolutely useless. And the way you stop peanut butter, you have to close on that. Yeah, so now crash down would almost be like he's just giving himself, like, and I wouldn't say crash down. We call it closing, which maybe that's what you're referring to when you say collapse. Closing is literally so when that tackle blocks down, you immediately, get to his hip, Yeah, man, NFL football tonight. You got Jalen Milroe taking his first snaps against the Raiders, man, 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, man. That's going to be a good one. Oh, I never pulled up the roster. Let me do that real quick. But, yeah, Marcus, he should close. He should have closed down on this guy, and this backer needs to be over the top. I'm feeling like he should probably be the pitch guy here. And the backer would pretty much play it like the quarterback player, because look at it. This is why it's important to close. Who does that puller end up blocking? The linebacker. And so he wasted himself, right? So he was useless. He took himself out of the play. But if you go back, if he closed right here, there's nobody on that backer because he's taking up this block. He's taking up this block, and this edge guy would have took up this puller, right? So he would have been able to be a free runner right here, scraping over the top, and then this guy probably would just have to play outside leverage on here, play the pitch. Then obviously you got a deep safety that can come down. Yeah, so y'all call it crash, but which I get what you're saying, but we wouldn't say that because our crash is different. Our crash means you're playing the dive. Our crash means like you're disregarding the quarterback. Closing just means like you're closing down the space for us. Crashing is more of like you're taking a dive type technique. But I get what you're saying though. But yeah, you see, does that make sense? Does that make more sense now? So this guy running upfield, again, that's why discipline's important. I mean, it's really on this. It's his fault. He should have blown this guy up immediately, and that backer would have been free to, scrape over the top. Then you got a free hitter. But because he doesn't, then they got a blocker on that backer. Then he's wasted. He blocked himself, run up the field. Yeah. We're saying the same thing pretty much. Yeah, it's just when I hear crash, that means we say crash. That means you're sending the end to go crash the dive. He disregards quarterback play, close, and sit and feather. Crash is crash. That means we're saying you're going and blowing up the dive for us. But you're right. I mean, it's all just verbiage.
Is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got our buddy Tommy. Tommy, welcome in.
Hey, Preston, how are you today?
Man, I'm great. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. About the ticket thing, Tennessee always saw because, that's always been classified as a premium game. And it's usually on the third week in October. That's just tradition. But Vanderbilt is sold out probably because everybody wants to see Vanderbilt get payback. Because the last month or two, when they show Alabama on SEC Network, they lose in Tennessee. They lose in Oklahoma. They losing to Vanderbilt. It don't look like Alabama won a football game last year. I liked it. I want this team to be motivated. I want the fan base to be motivated. Buy the ticket and come on the game.
That's right.
Amen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if the team's not motivated to go play Vanderbilt, man, I don't know how else you get them motivated, man. To me, the way last year went, that's all I needed. That's all I need, man. I think they'll be ready to roll. I mean, you heard Ryan kind of subtly say it in that thing. I mean, he wasn't trying to be disrespectful or talk trash. He just said straight up, like, we're going to. What did he use? He used like something about like a kill an ant with a hatchet or something. I don't know where he got that one from. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, and Oklahoma is homecoming. I mean, probably right now the only game that got sold out is the last one whoever we played before Auburn, the Panthers or somewhere up from Illinois or somewhere, I think. Or I don't know who the 11th game is, but
Yeah,
but
I'm
no,
not
I
sure.
mean,
I just was surprised when I saw Vanderbilt. I was like, dang, man, I'm fucking in the past. That game probably would have people would have been a little bit patient on that. But I guess obviously, man, they think it's gonna be a good game. Crazy to think about, man. Vanderbilt is a team to watch now for us Alabama fans.
oh yeah, they got a very good quarterback, and he makes them go. And like I said, once every 25 years, Vanderbilt put up a team for about 2 years. Then they coach get stolen or get a better job, and then they go right back being Vandy again. So I mean,
Yeah.
but
We'll see. I think it'll be a good one, man. He is a fun quarterback to watch, but hopefully we got a plan to get off the field this time and don't let them hold the football 45 minutes. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for this year. Don't let them literally hold the football 45 minutes. I think we'll be just fine.
well, the only thing I watched from that game was mental mistakes. Their heads were not in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking at players with the third team at Alabama on Vanderbilt with me, our first team players. Their heads wasn't in the game. They wasn't motivated. They didn't respect Vanderbilt. Like I said, respect everybody on your schedule, and you'll be all right.
Absolutely.
So,
man.
I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it'll be a different time. I think it will be a different result this time around, man. Not just saying like the score, obviously, but I'm saying it's kind of the approach to it. I mean, we got them at home. I think guys know what to expect now. I think it kind of just caught a lot of people off guard heading into that game. But I don't know, man. We'll see, man. It's definitely one I'll be watching for sure. Which I'll be watching every game, but
yeah, me too. But no. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Roll
yes,
Tide.
sir. Sounds good, Tommy. Roll Tide. Good deal. All right, we got a couple minutes here left in the show. one thing, speaking again, NFL schedule, preseason kicking off, Jalen taking his first NFL snaps tonight. I had the schedule up and I think I accidentally clicked it out. But another thing that goes along with being a rookie, man, is you got to do your performance. Your rookie performance is typically, singing in front of the whole team. I hated when I had to do mine. Looking forward to it, but it's something everybody's got to do. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Jahad Campbell had to do his, and I guess it got recorded. So I'm sure you guys will get a laugh out of this. This is Jahad doing his rookie performance in front of the team. I guess it's from yesterday. I don't know if he did yesterday or what, but check this out.
Your name? John. What's your signing bonus? 7.4 million. Yeah.
So as you can hear, he got booed immediately. I don't even think he even got in a lyric. I think he said yeah or whatever he said, but that means he'll be doing it again tomorrow or whenever the next time they call him up there. And you pretty much got to do it until you get the pass. But my suggestion for him, probably pick another song that you actually know the lyrics or you feel a little bit more comfortable singing. I don't know why he chose that song out of all songs. Chase, let me ask you this, man, as we wrap things up. If you had to go do your rookie performance, man, you had to pick a song to go sing in front of the team. What song are you picking, Chase? What song are you going to confidently get up there and go sing? That way you can get the pass and then not have to do that again.
Man. I'll probably do Until the End of Time by Justin Timberlake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I guess here's the follow-up. You want to do your rookie performance right here to close out the show?
Christian Miller. That's crazy work.
No, I'm saying. I mean, we had like a minute left. We can do the rookie talent show right here. I mean, you can do it in front of the listeners, man. You said Justin Timberlake. I can throw it on the screen real quick, man. I mean, you know what? I'll take the copyright.
Yours? I gotta know what yours was.
I told the story about mine. Mine was trash. I went with Old Town Row. That weak ass song from that weird guy, man. The reason I call him weird guys, not because I'm calling him weird because if you've seen like any of those music videos and crap he's done, he's got some weird stuff in there. This was back when the song was just viewed as some like silly kind of like country themed rap song, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I don't know. It was popular on social media, and I just like, bro, I don't sing. I don't want to sing any other song. I don't want to get up there and try to rap. That's kind of I felt. So I was like, man, I could just sing this that everybody's already singing along on social media, like as a joke. So I got up there and I went with that one. And I had it like through the chorus and they kind of started singing because the goal is you got it like once they start singing along, that's kind of like when you get your pass, but you can't stop immediately. And that's where I screwed up, man. I messed up because I got the chorus through real quick and then like the verse came and I stopped because I'm like, all right, bet they're singing. And then they stopped. And then they just immediately just piled booze on me, bro. They piled booze on me. Then I got swept. Cam had like a broom and he like swept me off the stage. And that was that. But, I got blessed though, because I don't know how I kept sneaking under I would be sitting in my chair low as hell when they'd be looking for rookies to call out. And they didn't call me until like it's like almost they knew that I was dreading it. Like that was the worst part of training camp. I could care less about the practice and stuff. I mean, that was cool. But I hated public speaking. I didn't want anything to do with that. And they didn't call me until like towards the end of camp. So I failed. And by the time they would have had to circle back to me to redo it, camp was over. And so I never had to actually do it again. Thank God. But yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, thank God. But hopefully Jahad picks a better song or finds some more confidence because, yeah, he's going to keep getting booed until he figures that part out. That being said, we got to get out of here, make room. T-Town Sports Daily coming up next. Appreciate everybody. Per usual, callers, listeners, all that good stuff, man. You guys are the best. We appreciate all your support right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Look forward to doing it again tomorrow with you on a free-for-all Friday right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. See you guys then.